Okay, we should be, if all is set, live. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy MumboElite. Welcome back to another Minecraft stream slash video. If you guys do enjoy, feel free to smack the like button, subscribe if you're new. We're gonna chill. We're gonna add on to our farm we got. We're gonna start getting some diamond as well. Low-key, just a chill stream. Working on building some sort of town. We made some progress so far. Kism, what's up, buddy? I'll kind of show you guys that in a second. But how's everyone doing? You put on some music. Let me know if that's too loud. It's about to be day, so we'll change it back over. So this is the design kind of looking at right now in terms of working on this. I think we're going to go with this. And then we just keep kind of like expanding it block by block. Looks a little better. We still got to work on this area. I don't know what to do. It said you're going to go live tomorrow. Oh, shoot. Did I have it set for tomorrow? Well, we're live right now. We'll change it up. Speaking about changing it up, let's get inside and game mode. Boom. Alright, I'll put those away. Let's find some diamond, baby. How's everyone doing? Welcome. I set to the 17th. Well, I had it set for today, and I was going to go live right after work, but then the PlayStation 5 game reveal was happening, so I started watching that. So I was like, we'll move it back till tomorrow. Forgot that I didn't turn it back to today. So, we'll stream tonight. I don't know necessarily if we'll be live tomorrow, but this weekend, guys, you're going to see some Call of Duty and chill. We're going to go back to playing the good old, not Black Ops 3 and chill, but we're going to take that concept and we're going to weave it into the Cold War Alpha. If you guys didn't know, Cold War Alpha is going to be out on the PlayStation. You can pre-download it tomorrow, tomorrow morning sometime, and then you can play all weekend. And it's free. You don't need a pre-order. You don't need PlayStation Plus or anything. Anyone who has a PlayStation 4 can play. So I'm super excited. Get the first look at what multiplayer is going to look like. Some of the new game modes. And yeah, that's basically it. What you guys been up to? It's also 1 a.m., not 10 p.m., 6 p.m. every time. Yeah, I don't know the time difference. I don't know what's going on. I'm live right now. That's all I know. I'm sick right now, so I can catch your streams. Now I have Among Us if you want to play. Well, I don't know when I'm going to play Among Us next. Scotty's, I think, hanging out with his girlfriend this weekend, and I don't know what Oscar's doing, but I typically only play Among Us when one or both of them's playing as well. Just because it's a lot easier and more fun to play when you have kind of like the whole squad on. Austin, what's up, buddy? How you been, man? Yeah, if you guys are enjoying the stream, feel free to smack that like button. Let's see if we can get to 5 likes right now. That'd be dope. Oh, is this our... Yo, we're back. Wait, no, I'm lost again. Are you kidding me? Did I just lose my place? Where did I come from? We did this last time. Oh, no. Here we go. Boom, we're back. Woo. Alright, we're not going to go that way. Let's go this way this time. Let's actually start at this light. Austin, man, how you been, dude? Long time no see. Is the music at a good volume, or is it too loud? I don't want it too overpowering. I'm a really good liar, by the way. The amount of times I made my crewmates vote out another one's crazy. Dude, I'm such a bad liar in that game. Which is probably a good thing, right? You don't want to be a good liar. That's like the one... It's like a win-win no matter who you are in that game. Either you're a good liar and you win the game and you're a crappy person, or you suck and you don't lie. Or, the worst case possible, you lie and you suck at lying and you don't win. That would be me. Dude, I get lost so often on this map. Alright, let's put that back. Get some cobblestone up there. Kism, is there any fun Minecraft servers planned as well? I was thinking of possibly, I don't know, maybe like a prison one or something. Free time, just grinding. Alright, we're gonna need another... Go. Not really, Minecraft is kind of boring. I feel like it has its periods, and since like summer's over, I don't know. I'm just... Here's kind of my timeline, so you guys know. The alpha is this weekend for Call of Duty, so I'm going to be streaming that this weekend on YouTube. Then once the weekend's over, the following week, I don't know if the FIFA 21 beta comes out or what the deal is, but I'm basically just waiting on that. And then once like the web app's released for FIFA 21, we're full send YouTube videos again, full send content in terms of streams and stuff as well. Then obviously once Call of Duty comes out, we'll balance the two. I was having a conversation with Oscar about this. In your opinion, Kism, what makes Minecraft fun, and then what makes Minecraft boring to you? Because I feel like it's like, it can be so fun 1 second, and then it just gets so boring depending on what you do. I just want to find diamond, man. We're struggling out here. I don't know how long we're going to be live tonight either. Probably at least an hour, but I'll probably go watch a movie or something after. Eat some popcorn. The usual. I just got bored. I wasn't even going to stream tonight. Minecraft is fun because it's an easy sociable game because everyone owns Minecraft. With like any other game, you gotta buy it. Meanwhile, Minecraft is the game everyone has. I would argue Minecraft's like the Fortnite before Fortnite. In the sense of like, everyone had it. Not necessarily that it's free, but technically like everyone had it in one way or another. And that's what made it so accessible, kind of like you just said. Are we even going to be able to kill the, what is it, the Ender Dragon? I feel like we should eventually make a run and try to get that at some point. I've never beat the Ender Dragon. I don't know. I think Minecraft just got released during a very good time where people had the money to buy it, and also is commercially a huge success. And yeah, like everyone can play it too. It's like kids can play it, adults love it. Do I even know how to get to the end? I would have to like watch a video on how to do it. I know it's something with a noise and ender pearls, and then putting them in a portal, and then having the resources to basically beat the Ender Dragon, so I know like the bare minimum. Jonathan, what's up, buddy? You like the XP bar? Yeah, it's cool XP bar in this. Is there anything over here? No. Alright, we're gonna go back. We'll try to find more diamond later. Let us continue building our farm that we were working on. I probably have to add some sort of like stairs or ladder in here as well, so we can get up and down quick. You do a lot of grinding in Minecraft while watching Netflix. Have you seen, what is it? I think it's The Social Dilemma, the new Netflix original. It's really good, like in terms of informative on how social media and like social media companies operate. And hey, we hit 5 likes, guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Let's see if we can hit 10 before the end of the live stream. That'd be insane, as the kids say. Check Discord. Should I just hop in Discord? I'll just hop in Discord if anyone wants to say hi. Alright, I'm in my general.
That is extremely loud. Hi.
Yo. This is on what?
This is on a server I joined like a week ago. I do a lot of grinding.
The stats. Holy cow. What which server was this?
It's a private server in my school.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah. Our class is like an entire fucking Discord.
A bunch of no lives.
They went fucking 516 gigabytes of RAM into the server.
Jeez.
Yeah. And it's like a big server. It's a physical server to have in the school.
The server's in the school?
Yeah.
What? How do the like teachers allow it to stay up?
Well, I mean, the entire school is based around technology. It's a coding school.
Yeah, I know, but like in terms of having a video game stay up.
No, it's the teacher's server.
Oh, the teacher runs it?
Yeah.
What the hell? How does that work?
Well, I mean, he's a gamer. It's a Twitch stream.
But
actually.
no, does he have you like playing during class, or is it only like outside of class, but it's a way to like...
Yeah, no, it's just like, it's kind of like a team building exercise, kind of.
Dude, honestly, the more I think about it, imagine if people did online classes in Minecraft for things. How cool would that be?
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. But I mean, there's already a thing for that.
People used to do that back in the day. I remember people used to do like history in Minecraft. Like teachers would buy it and then like they'd build like, oh, this was this government building, or they'd go on a server that housed all this stuff, and then it's supposed to be like some super cool lesson.
Yeah.
Kids today will never understand.
You're making me feel old.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
You're
I'm an
dying.
idiot. I'm literally an idiot.
You die.
No.
Okay. Oh. That was the lamest thing ever.
I scrolled too quick, and I literally just demolished all my plants.
Yeah, this is why you use this like the numbers. It's so much more efficient in scrolling.
I do what I do, and I will not change my ways.
Okay, boomer.
That's why. Okay, I'm not a boomer.
Yeah, you are.
If I'm a boomer, we're all screwed.
What?
If I'm a boomer, we're all screwed.
Yeah. I mean, we already are. and just look outside the
Kind
window.
of. Feels like it every day in 2020.
Honestly, I'm starting to feel kind of old because like after 4 p.m. I struggle staying awake.
Yeah, I've been going to bed earlier and earlier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sick, and honestly, it, it's really surprising because I go to a really good school. So, like, I actually hate being sick right now so fucking bad. Like, I'm having
Because you
mood
enjoy
swings.
school, you're saying?
Yeah, it's so much fun. And just like going from being a very sociable person in school to
Yeah.
sitting home alone, just talking to nobody for hours. It feels weird because, like, this is what I used to love, but now I fucking hate it.
Well, it's one of the things about, I don't know, being social is not the right way to say it, but that's like one of the things of everyone like loves the idea of like staying home and gaming. But then once you get used to, I think it's just literally just getting used to something. It's not even like necessarily which one you prefer. It's you get in the habit of doing something. It's like, oh, this seems kind
Yeah.
of fun now. Kind of like I used to always be that way too, where it was like I'd prefer, yeah, if my friends wanted to hang out, it's great. But like my idea of like a chill night would be hanging out for friends a little bit in person, and then all of us getting on like gaming, like playing COD, was the way we
Yeah.
used to do it. But now it's turned into something where it's like you have basically what half a year coming up. I would say even longer than half a year, almost a full year and a couple of months, where you've done nothing but stay inside, and the idea of playing video games nonstop was so appealing. But now you're like, dude, what I wouldn't give to literally do anything out in the real world.
We went to school like every single day.
Yeah. Yeah, you
So
didn't
like,
close down at all, didn't you?
what?
You didn't close down at all, did you?
Oh, we stayed open. We just kind of relied on common sense, which is just impossible for me. But I mean,
Listen,
like,
it's not common sense that's holding us back. It's not being able to agree on anything.
yeah,
Like it's so bad here in the sense of like disagreeability that like take something like 1 + 1 = 2.
and people will find an
That's
argument.
a common thing. That's normal. That's considered normal. But just because some person they don't like says 1 + 1 = 2, people will be like, actually, well, now that you bring it up, blah 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 blah.
That's the
But then
thing
but
with
then but then if like the person you don't like says actually there's 1 + 1 doesn't necessarily have to equal 2, the same people will then be like, LMAO, this person's such a loser. They don't think 1 + 1 = 2. It's like, dude, you can't win. People just want to have arguments to have arguments.
that's the thing. Like nobody can think for themselves. But they think they can think for themselves. You just can't.
Well, that's wokeness for you. Everyone believes they're the smartest person, and it's their duty to awaken other people if
You
they're
wanna
not
know why
woke
I
enough.
really want to move to America to study law?
Dude, I have my degree in business, but I've been like on the side, not like classes, but like in terms of YouTube videos and like research and getting super like involved. Like political science to me seems amazing, and like I find it very enjoyable regardless of like who people vote for or like the reasons why. I just like tracking the whole process and like, yeah, I don't know, I just find all that stuff super fun, that I would want to also at the same time like understand law better and not necessarily like represent people under law or get a degree, but like understand it to a point where things make even more sense.
Yeah. No, but I mean, the reason I want to study law in America is because one, the pay is better, and two, everyone is an idiot. So me, me is not.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
No,
Listen,
it's the truth. You cannot say that not everyone in America is an idiot.
listen, man. I'm not saying we're all idiots, but
In relevance, like compared to the general person who's like from,
well,
well, not
the
American.
interesting thing is if you look at our economy and how much money, two different arguments. One, how much money does the United States have
Oh, yeah.
compared to how our stock market is compared to then If you want to look at like how much in debt we are, I think all those things go hand
Yeah.
in hand.
No,
But
America's very
if you
so
look
in
at
debt.
like our education levels compared to other countries, like it's crazy that we have such a diverse education in the sense of like you have some states that can contend as, I wouldn't even say states, I'd say some cities you can contend as like some of the most educated people in the world, but then a town over you have people who don't even know how to read.
Yeah.
It's crazy the diversity of that.
Yeah, but I'd say that America, like pretty much, no, actually, just America overall is just a spoiled brat, in which it's like it's going very well economically, economically, but it's not very much just a individual
Well, you know
country.
what it is? It's a disconnect between generations. We
Yeah,
the my parents and kind of like their whole generation, their whole thing was live life, have a family, make sacrifices for your kids, meaning like if you want to save up so your kids can have a better future than you can, or just in general wanting to provide more for your kids than your parents were able to afford, like provide you, which is a very honorable thing to do. But by doing that, I feel like it's just become such the norm in terms of like that's how kids kind of get to college. It's either you take out a loan or your parents save up the money to help you get there, whether you
yeah,
pay them back or whether it's just a thing you pass on to your kids. It's become like a typical normal thing. The issue with that though is like even I didn't understand the value of money until I got out of high school. It literally made no sense to me. I understood it from the perspective of I worked a job and I would save up and not really spend. But the idea people have of money and how like you have to earn it, and it's not just given to you, is such a, you'd think not controversial thing, but at the same time it's very controversial.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'd say that it's quite easy to get a job in America, and I think it's easy to get a hold of money if you're in America. That's kind of what I moved to because there's a lot of opportunities.
I
And
would say it's easy to get a job. It's
it's hard to keep
it's
it.
that a little bit, but I would say too like the issue people have in the United States is the good paying job is not always the job you think is the sexiest or the thing you wanted to do.
Yeah,
But if your thing is, hey, how can I earn the most money? You might not take opportunities that could lead you to more money just because you don't think it's for you, and that's fine. That's why you see a lot of people who are teachers. You don't see
yeah,
people like my mom and my sister. They're not being a teacher because they like the amount of money they make. Um, but it's just one of those
yeah,
things too, where at the end of the day, the more money you earn, and a lot of times it's in business, taking on more risk in order to do so. There's
I
kind
mean,
of a
that's kind of
disconnect there.
to Nevada because there's two things that two jobs in Nevada which I can't get in Sweden or pretty much anywhere else to be honest in Nevada. But one, there's law because I love debates and I love doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And two, there are casinos because I love blackjack and I love just and I mean if I can stand uh, doing minimum wage for 6 hours a day just playing blackjack, like dealing blackjack, I fucking love that. I mean,
See,
I'm not losing out on
and
money.
that's like the beautiful thing that a lot of people aren't willing to do here that I feel like is such a blessing that people don't understand is like everyone wants to have their dream job, obviously, where it's like, I wish I could do this for a living. What people don't
Yeah,
understand is you could wake up every single day and do that. It just might not be your main source of income or it might not be as much as you thought. For
yeah,
example, if I wanted, like, back when I wanted to be a streamer, right? I could see myself doing this full time. The dream would be to be able to wake up every single day and video game as my job. It's just the amount of time I'm able to put into it is what changes. So, for
yeah,
example, when I was in college, I was able, according to kind of set my own schedule in terms of classes and then get my homework done and kind of set my own stream schedule. Now that I work 40 hours a week, it's a little different and like the passion I once had is not really there anymore.
yeah,
The way it used to be. It's not that it's dead. I just think it's moved around in terms of what I'm valuing more in life. But like if I wanted to, every single day after work, I could get on and stream for an hour. And if I was loving it, I would be like, hey, I'm living my dream right now.
yeah. and that's kind of what I'm planning on because I'm not planning to become a blackjack dealer for the rest of my life. That's not a future I want. No, I'm doing the blackjack dealer stuff as a kind of way to pay for
Well,
college or
yeah,
have it.
I feel so bad for people who. And I don't know if there's anyone out there who views this as a good thing. I don't know why it'd be viewed as a good thing to me personally, but people are different. I don't understand the people who they work a job and then they're like, oh, counting down the days till retirement as they're like in their 20s. And I'm like, I could see that
Yeah,
maybe if like it's your last like 2 years and you have like senioritis in terms of you're literally about to be a senior citizen, not have to work for the rest of your life. But like if you're in your 20s and you're hating what you're doing, there's something else out there for you. Oh
yeah,
my gosh. Like for me, for example, the position I'm currently in, I already know I don't want to be in the job position that I'm currently in for probably much longer than a year if I stay this long. And what I mean by that is I want to either progress at the job, either get a raise, get a new position at the company, or look for something else if I feel like it'd make me happier or it could be potentially more pay. But like more than anything, what kind of quarantine has done for me, at least in the United States, is it's made me like realize how much more productive I am with my day working from home. Where kind of almost my new requirement for myself is like the independence of work. So if I could like, let's say this job allows me to keep working from home, I would absolutely love that and then take advantage of it as much as I could. Or if I could find another job that allows me to do that, I don't even care what it is. I think that's like one of the things I'd value the most right now because I can work out during the day, I can make food, I can like watch Netflix on screen right next to me, I can get in calls with my boss, with my coworkers. It's like you're all on your own schedule, but you all realize you still have to get the work done. And this magical thing happens when you're not stuck in an office for 40 hours a week and you have work that you're expected to do. You kind of get it done on your own time and at your own speed. It's a
yeah,
wonderful thing.
yeah. No, fucking people. I'm losing the word right now, but people who give up works. They would love me because I love doing boring works or boring jobs.
Oh,
They require minimal input and just you do the
well,
same task for
so
hours. I love that stuff.
funny you say that. Part of my job, so I have a couple different like things I do. One of my main tasks is I do a lot of different motorcycle parts,
Yeah,
and basically the companies we work with, like the different brands, they have new parts coming out like every season. So the fall they get new parts. For the winter they have like snowmobile parts come in. Then spring and summer obviously they have more motorcycle oriented and like ATV, UTV. So I constantly have like this new stuff coming in that it's like, okay, I'm expected to get this information in, try to find it. But then like I'll get these, they're called tickets, which is just like a system where it tells you you have this to do and then when you're done you turn it in. Just kind of like
yeah.
helps with the tracking. I get like tickets for like this old work where it's like, hey, go through this, just double check to make sure it's all in, and if it's
Love
not
that.
in, put it in. And I love when I get those tickets because I like look and it's like, okay, this is estimated to take me 4 hours, so this is half my workday. I'm gonna
Yeah,
grind out like the emails, that whole stuff in the morning. I'm gonna have like the midday meeting with my boss or like message my team to try to figure out what resources I need. And then after lunch, I'm literally kicking it back, whether I'm listening to music, podcasts, or like Netflix on in the background. I will literally just grind my work and it will fly by in like 2 seconds.
yeah,
And it's the
yeah.
most beautiful thing. I'm putting in an enormous amount of effort for it too. But it's like the work slash reward makes me want to work even harder if that makes sense. Because like
Yeah.
when I'm in an office, I still do work hard, but don't get me wrong. But I feel like a lot of people can relate to this. When you feel like you're being watched 24/7, or you feel like you have to be as productive as possible, sometimes what happens is you end up sitting there exhausted and you're just kind of staring at your screen. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, let me check my email for the 100th time today. Oh, no new email. Well, let me run to the bathroom real quick. And you're just kind of like chilling. But like home, it's like I can do my work while doing what I want.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, on the screenshot I sent of the statistics, I have a friend in my classroom who's also called Simon, to be honest. But I didn't sweat to be honest, but he went like, "Hey, do you want a job?" And I was like, "Oh, what's the job?" And he was like, "Yeah, I gotta mine like 10,000 sand." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll do that." And so I did that.
He paid you
And
actual money, or?
no, of course not. I mean, it's Minecraft.
Well, I didn't know if he was like, "Hey, bro, I really need to get this done, but I don't have the time to do it." I've been paid before doing like tasks for people in video games.
Yeah, no, I'd be fucking awesome at that. I fucking love just doing the same thing over and
I
over
used to
and
do that
over.
in FIFA all the time. I would be the one who'd like trade like crazy. Then my friends would be
Yeah,
like, "Yo, bro, I need like 50K to like complete this team." I'd be like, "All right," and they're like, "How much do you want?" I'm like, $20. And they're like, "Deal." Little did they know if they traded that to make that 50K for them, it might take like a couple weeks. But with the amount of coins I had, I was able to get it done within like an hour just because I was able to invest so much more. And
yeah,
then it just like was a thing where I wasn't even using that 50K, so it was just sitting around. It was a no brainer.
yeah. But I mean, I just fucking. It's so strange because in reality, I fucking hate doing manual labor. Like, if you take something in front of me and say, "Hey, you have to do this right now," I probably won't like doing
Yeah.
it. But if you're like, "Hey, can you do this right now?" I'll probably love doing it.
Lord Enforcer, what's up, buddy? Number one rule in Minecraft: don't dig straight down. Bet. Should I do it right now?
Yeah. I mean, it's only like a, I don't know, 10% chance of you falling into lava on your wide level, so
All right.
it's only wide 13 or 11.
You ready for this? Not again. You remember what happened last time we did
You're not
this.
gonna fall into a ravine, I guess. Put a water bucket into your offhand.
Boom.
Oh,
We did it. There wasn't far to go, but we did it. Lord Enforcer, how you been, buddy? Sorry, Kism, you were saying what, man?
I don't remember.
You were saying something about sand in Minecraft for your friend.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I mean, that took 6 hours of work. Then he like placed it out and to clear like some water. Then he asked me if I could take it out. So that's another 6 hours. I worked 12 hours straight
Jeez.
digging sand and watching Netflix. I fucking loved every hour of it.
Yeah, that's the thing too. When you're doing something at the same, I love multitasking, to the point
Yeah,
where like I'm addicted to multitasking, where it's unhealthy because I can't relax. Like
yeah,
if I'm watching Netflix, I have to be either on my phone, grinding a game, or eating something. I can't just sit there and watch Netflix. And
yeah,
I think in college that was my issue. Whenever I'd watch something, I'd eat, and then I wasn't like watching how much I ate, and I was like, oh, that could be very easy to put on weight.
yeah.
But
I know, but
now,
the flip,
now, but now it's kind of like flipped where I kind of like I'll do cardio while I watch anything. So like I'll get up, I'll jump rope, or like walk around my room to the
yeah,
point where like it feels weird if I'm just sitting down. Like it's unnatural. I'm like, wait a second. I feel like I should be doing something. That's kind of like the reason I'm streaming right now was typically this is the night our family watches a TV show, Big Brother, but it wasn't on tonight. So I came down. I'm like, well, I can watch YouTube, even though I did that for most of the day today. Nope, not gonna do that. I could play a video game, and then I was like, I don't know what I want to play. I'm like, wait, if I'm gonna play a video game, I might as well stream it. I was gonna stream today anyways. Might as well do it now. I've been
yeah.
good
But
just trying to find new hobbies and not get me bored, dude. Same, man.
yeah, but the best feeling is when you're doing the same thing over and over, and you develop like strategies for doing it faster.
Yep, that's
That
literally
is like
work. Yep.
that like when you do the same thing over and over, you like notice that you do something like 25% faster if you do this one thing, or you tell it one way and just fucking your entire board is just blown away.
And it gets even better once like your evaluation of money changes. So like once you get a job that pays you X amount and you're doing a certain job, you might not like the job or you may like the job, but you'll do it for so long that you'll get efficient at it and see, all right, depending on the job, I'm going to say a standard job. Like let's say someone's first job working minimum wage at a restaurant doing dishes. It doesn't matter how fast they do the dishes. they're still going to have dishes to do and they're getting the same rate. But then, like, put someone in my position where I'm still getting paid for, like, the amount of time. It pays for me to be efficient, though, because the more efficient I am, the better it looks. I can get a raise. The more efficient I am, the more breaks I could technically take in the day then. Or, like, the more I could, like, space up stuff. The more, like, stuff I could get done around the house. It's just beneficial to get better at something. But, like, once you do that in the workforce, that's how people start really making money. Is they're like, wait, I'm really good at this. I can put it on my resume. Let me find a job that's willing to pay me what my work ethic is. And then it just gets better and better over time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited to get into the work world, but at the same time, I'm
It's so
not
fun.
really because I kind of hate manual labor. Like
Yeah,
the
you just
reason,
gotta find what you like. Sorry,
but
you
yeah,
saying what?
yeah, the reason I love school right now is because it's all optional. I don't have to do school. I just gotta be there, and like I'm kind of sitting there like I could play Minecraft the entire class, but
So what
I'm
makes you do it is it's optional, so it makes you
yeah
feel
because
like you
my
have
time
to.
to do.
So when it's like forced, you just don't feel like doing it then?
Yeah, but like when it's more like optional, where it's like, oh yeah, you do whatever you want. I'm like, well, I don't really have anything else to do, so that's what I love about my current school.
Grandma's on the phone.
Okay.
But I think that like we work, it's not really optional because it's like
Alright, I'll be right back.
yeah.
Be right back, guys.
Even though it's like 4 feet away, I can still see his forehead. Hey,
Alright, yeah.
hello. Got some food?
I got an apple.
Nice. I want an apple now. God damn it.
My Minecraft character is hungry, so I got hungry.
Ah, of course. Yeah, I sent you a DM with like a beat I made. I tried
Okay.
using it for the video, but I'm really trash. I don't know. I gotta make more music, to be honest. I've been slacking.
Yeah, because I don't know if you were here at the start of the stream when I said COD's back, right? The alpha is free on PlayStation 4 this weekend.
Yeah, I don't use my PlayStation
No,
4 anymore.
I'm just saying I'm gonna do my old the Black Ops 3 and chill back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the I'm gonna do the Cold War and chill. Preparing for Black Ops.
Just gonna say that. Oh yeah, I gotta record this track. It's really fucking bad.
Yeah, record what?
The diss track I wrote you like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah,
It's really fucking bad. So
dude. One of the coolest but funniest things in the world is when you progress at like I'll just call it poetry because it technically is all poetry at the end of the day. Like I'll have like raps that I wrote in high school. I like go back and look at them, and some it's like, dang, I can't believe I did that. That's actually pretty decent. But in some it's like, yo, why did I think this was good?
yeah, that's like because this track is like 4 verses long,
but then
and like
but then I look at my YouTube channel, and then I think to myself, I'm like, why did I ever post these? Like this Sniper Wolf one, like. I thought it was funny when I did it, but like now, like I'll still get views every single day from it. Actually, let me check to see how many views I got today from it. Like every single day, I'll just slowly get more and more views, and like I'll occasionally get a comment, and people be like, just say random stuff like, "Yo, I didn't realize you posted this," or like, that was like you'll get the Sniper Wolf fan girl or boy, whatever you call it. Like, I can't believe you dissed Sniper Wolf. Don't ever do that.
yeah.
I have over 1,000 YouTube videos I'd like to watch, but I've been busy with video games. I'd rather watch streamers, content creators live. I feel it, Jonathan. Jonathan, are you able to multitask that though? Because I feel like for me, that's like the best thing in the world when I do game, when I'm not streaming, is I either watch like YouTube videos while I'm gaming, or I watch a stream while I'm gaming. You can't do it with every game. Like Fortnite, it's hard to do that, obviously, and like Call of Duty multiplayers, but like if you can find a game like Minecraft in between doing tasks and stuff and pull up a stream, it just enhances the experience for me that I've found.
Man, you gotta record a verse for funny that.
Funny that. I still remember like most of it.
You gotta record it, man. I'm lonely on that verse. Also, like I'm never gonna be
over the past like 6 months, I think I've wrote down or like freestyled like 10 different songs, and I've made actually like 3, and I have them like on my phone.
Yeah,
just
me
like
too.
uploaded from my computer, and I just kind of will randomly listen to it. I'm like, oh, nice.
I wrote down all my lyrics in iPhone's notes. I
Yep.
have over
Dude,
100 notes.
the worst is when you go back in and you're like, what was the beat I did this to? Or
Yeah,
what was the
like,
flow I was thinking of? And it pisses me off trying to like remember it. And then like
yeah,
you
but
do one and you realize it wasn't the exact same one, but you have to just go with it. Sometimes it works out, but sometimes it doesn't. I'm terrible at multitasking. Dude, I have to multitask. Jonathan, I wish I was you, buddy. Because, like, I feel like I'm losing out on life if I'm not multitasking, which means I just can't enjoy just sitting in a moment. I wasn't always like this, but I think streaming partially turned me into it. And then, like, also, like, phone and social media addiction, which don't even get me started on that whole thing. Again, highly recommend you guys watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix. Really puts into perspective what social media companies do to get you addicted, and like their algorithms to not make you feel good about yourself and to constantly have you questioning why the hell you're even on social media. It's literally insane. Have you seen it, Gizem?
No, I haven't, but it's pretty funny.
You should watch it. It's like when I say it's insane, it's insane.
The thing is, like, I don't know, I have a hard believing, like, all of the surveillance stuff because at the core of it, I don't think that people like humans can make these decisions.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Skeptical. I'm always kind of skeptical to all these like ideas where it's like, oh yeah, corporates are controlling you and like they're keeping tabs on everything you do and they always have surveillance. I find it kind of hard to believe because I don't think a lot of people. I find it hard that people like come up with this idea or perform this idea like without question.
What
And like,
can you explain it in a different way? Because I feel like I understand half what you're saying. Are you saying in terms of like
like
the
okay,
algorithms
imagine
or
surveillance. Imagine like complete surveillance where it's like some people believe that everything they say is recorded and everything they do is recorded by the government.
sir?
I
Wait,
find
wait, hold on. When do I'm trying to connect how you got to surveillance?
no, it's like with the idea of social media being very
Oh,
elaborate.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it hard to believe that some person could make the decision to make it so
Well,
surveillance
so
over the.
one of the things it didn't. I don't know if I haven't watched the whole thing, so I don't know whether or not it did talk about it. But I know this for a fact just of watching other stuff and like honestly going through the process of myself. It's one of those things where if you take like let's say a country like China, where a lot of people don't want if it's a different country that especially you don't trust the type of government it has, you don't just
Yeah,
want to hand your information over willy nilly. A lot of people might be against that. But then you get the people who say, meanwhile, you're handing over your information willingly to these corporations in the United States. And it's so true. Think about like the social media we use, how we don't even like second guess. We'll download an app, whether it's like a game we play or if it's like a social media, and we'll say allow it to access your microphone, allow it to access your like camera, allow it to access your contact books, all these things. We're just like willing to give this information over
yeah, but it's just
just because a button told us gave us an option. And
yeah, but
like
I don't
what
believe that it's that elaborate. I don't believe that Twitter records every conversation you
it
say. I
is
don't believe that.
so no, I'll explain it. So everyone likes to think the way they record you is they have everything you've ever said or everything you've ever done online. There is some truth for everything you've ever done online, but the biggest thing people don't understand, I'll say it this way: Facebook knows when you poop. Facebook knows when you poop not because it has a camera tracking you when you're on the toilet and you bring your phone in there. It's because everything you do, the certain profile you're building up, when you're on your phone, the amount of time you spend there, the location that you give, it can put all these factors together and take a guess at what you're doing. So, for example, if you constantly like go through a town, like let's say you drive through, say you live in a certain city and you constantly drive the next city over for work and you stop at a coffee shop there and you get on their Wi-Fi and you start using your phone there. You get on apps that start tracking your location, you might get more ads that are centered in that area.
Yeah, all right, okay, but let me just ask you this, okay? Do you believe that this is morally okay at all? This surveillance and this personalized learning. Do
I
you believe
I
that
I th-
many people think this is okay morally?
I think social media was built kind of. I think it literally represents humans perfectly. Social
No,
media sites like Facebook were built.
answer my question. Do you think
No,
that
no, no, no.
anyone?
Hear me out because I am answering your question. I think the intentions behind a lot of these social media sites when they were initially built was morally a good place of wanting people to connect with each other. But then you throw the idea of that you can take the whole idea of people making articles. So for example, you have a bunch of reporters who used to post on things that weren't social media and they'd have to find ways to link their articles to stuff. The more clicks they got on their articles, the more money they made. Throw that into social media now, something like politics, where you could talk about something good happening in the world or something that like everyone agrees on. You're not really going to get people to click that article. But if like let's say people don't like the president, which I think a lot of people don't like Trump, so he's a perfect example. You can write like the most mean and nasty things about it, and you'll get paid for it. Morally, is that a good thing? I don't know. It depends on the person. But I think what's worse morally is the people then who work at these companies, and this is why I want you to watch the Social Dilemma, is these are former employees of a lot of these companies, and they literally said my job was to track analytics for these and be responsible to make the automation systems that basically know everything about you, and it just felt so morally wrong what we were doing that I had to quit or that I had to start something against it. And it literally has become a beast to the point of it's like it's so sad. And when the first social medias were really coming out, if you look back at like 2008, 2009 when things got popularity, do you see my last comment? Let me read it. My niece almost caught her house on fire. She was caught playing with a lighter and setting napkins on fire. Oh my gosh. Hopefully everyone was okay, man. But no, what was I saying?
They used to work on. There was something about like
Oh,
the
yeah,
original.
yeah. No, you can go back and it talks about it, so I don't want to. I'll reference the show as my source. But they talk about the suicide rates, especially with young, like, teen girls not fitting in and not feeling good enough. Just how much it's, like, gone up since social media started. And it's insane. Because, like, think about it. You take something like Instagram, which I think Instagram is one of the worst social medias for this reason. You are seeing people happy. You're seeing people in the best shape. You're seeing people do these crazy luxurious things and saying that this is like it, you view it as this is their life 24/7. Little do you know, when the people post that picture, this is at their best of the best that they can possibly think of. And then they're kind of looking at it as, I hope this does well. I hope people like it. I hope this, like, not necessarily front I'm putting up, but like hopefully people respond well to this. Meanwhile, you don't think about everyone who looks at it as like, damn, this is why I have to compare myself to. This person looks so beautiful, or oh, this person has so much muscle. I wish I could look like that. And like the self doubt comes in. People start second guessing themselves. Suicidal thoughts. It's just a whole mess. That
I think very seldom suicide is connected directly to the phone. I think
oh,
there's a lot of
I was gonna tweet it today, but I didn't know how to word it. Let me pull up my. I have a bunch of tweets that like I tell myself I'm like, if I feel like tweeting this in an hour, I'll hit send. So if I
yeah,
like go to my if I go to my drafts, I have like 100 tweets. Um,
yeah.
I literally tweeted this and then didn't actually tweet it. I said I don't know who needs to hear this, but social media is negatively affecting your mental health, but you won't talk about it because you're so addicted that you don't realize it's actually the problem. Because like so many people think about it, they're like, oh, I know it's so bad for me in the sense of like they're addicted to it, but they don't realize it's bad for them for the sake of it's literally bad for your mental health. They
Yeah.
look as, oh, it's not good that I'm addicted, therefore I should take some time away. Not questioning how much it dictates your life and in what ways it dictates your life. Because like
I was saying,
it's one thing to have an addiction. It's another thing to have an addiction where it pulls away all these aspects of your life and kind of makes you a clone of yourself. Not even clone, like a I don't even know what the word is. Like
yeah. Not gonna lie, Twitter has ruined my like view of women overall
why?
because fucking everyone seems to be a jackass and they always. I don't know. I don't know. It's probably. I've been fucking viewed to so many fucking ignorant women who jump to conclusions and they blame men for everything. And they don't just blame the man; they blame everyone.
I
They blame
feel like Twitter's issue is they're so good at like recommending tweets or like having people you follow retweet certain stuff for you to see it if you like agree to it so much to the point like I'll use politics as an example because I follow like everyone in politics no matter like what they
Yeah.
believe in. I like the idea of scientifically and like philosophically talking about politics and then also too I love the idea of the psychology behind it. The like, okay, what do people believe and why do they believe this? Is it because they were taught growing up in schools? Is it because these are family values? Is it because their friends told them they should vote this way or like do this? And like the amazing thing that happens, and it's not really that complicated to understand. People who have different backgrounds than you and different experiences than you often relate their personal experience to what they believe in. That can be different for different people, but it's one of those things that people who, especially with political views, center around people who have similar experiences in life. You typically to have two type of things happen. One, you group yourself up by race or gender as the first one, just because those are kind of the common things close to you. But I feel like the bigger one that's not talked about a lot is classism. Like, look at everyone in your, let's say, school, for example. I don't know how it is in Sweden, but if you're going to the same public high school as other people, chances are, relatively, your families are in a range of wealth, but it's more lower to middle class. There's not a lot of times you'll see just extremely rich people put their kids into public school. It's just not very common. But what that builds is kind of certain frames of how the world works, especially if you like live out in the country. So like in Wisconsin, we have towns that are in big cities. We have towns that are on the outskirts of these big cities. Then we have towns that like you're literally a half an hour away from any big city whatsoever. What that does is it makes like ways of living completely different. For like me, I live in like the in between where it's like I can travel 15 minutes. I'm in a downtown where you have to take public transportation, where there's a lot of restaurants, a lot of businesses, a lot of people who live there, some homeless, higher crime rates. That's a completely different worldview and a different way of life than where I live. But if you're basing everything you believe off of like your family, your friends, where you currently live, and you're not looking at like other people's situations, very much so putting yourself in other people's shoes, it can be hard to see why people would believe another thing. But the cool thing that comes out of it is you realize there really is no right or wrong in the sense of politics that is clear cut. It's very much what do you believe in, and that is almost your truth in a sense, is what it
Do you want to know
becomes.
the biggest psychological factors in politics?
What?
Money and personal ego.
I would say fear is a big one. Fear is
No,
almost what most elections are won off of in some way or another.
I'd say that I wouldn't say fear. I would more say hope. But I'd say that unfortunately, the money behind politics is definitely the biggest reason why there's even a thing called politics in the first place.
Yeah, I
Think
like
about
in a sense, I think too it's one of those things where base level, I think a lot of people would like it if money was out of politics. But the issue with that is money does run the world and money does run politics in the sense of, okay, what do you say money out of politics? Does that mean just in terms of promoting your campaign, you can't use a certain amount of money? Okay, let's set that limit. Then you're kind of, what are you going to use? Social media to get your word out? Are you then relying on a company to believe in your point of view to potentially have it more algorithm friendly? For example, let's take Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. If they posted videos about like their platforms on social media, I'll use Trump for example because he's a perfect one here. Twitch banned Trump for a week because like his certain positions was against terms of service or something. They said it was like a harassment.
yeah,
How the hell does that happen? Like
yeah, that's kind of
I
wrong.
but if let's say he's not able to have people contribute money to his campaign or he's not able to put money into a campaign, what is he able to then get awareness from if he didn't already have it built up outside of politics? That's another thing
Yeah,
too that people don't want to talk about. You're gonna have a bunch of like 80-year-old politicians who aren't able to win anything because you're gonna have a vlogger YouTuber say I want to try to run this country because they're gonna have more clout and that's what's gonna get more people to see them, therefore more people to vote for them. And I feel like that's just it's a dangerous path in terms of just like going one way completely or the other way completely. But there definitely is like some in between. I don't know what that looks like, but there's definitely an in between. I've been watching Shameless on Netflix. It's a good show. Dude, I love Shameless, man. It's good. But
I think
what were you
politics
gonna
is
say?
a business. I
Politics
don't
is a
know.
very lucrative business, and it's a very interesting business. the more I get into politics, the more I love it for that reason.
The thing is that I don't believe in anything in politics. I don't believe that anyone is right. I'm more inclined to believe someone,
It's a
but
spectrum. Yeah, I believe it's a spectrum. I think one of the biggest fear, when I say fear, for example, I'll use United States politics. When people talk about either democratic socialism or socialism in general, when a lot of people hear that word here, you get two thoughts. One, either that's a fantastic thing and we should do it, or that's literally like the devil. Don't do it. Don't do it. We can't have that be us. What do you mean, socialism here? What? And so that either is a very big thing, like you said, hope, like that one day we could get there, or a very big thing of, hey, we don't want to get here. That's just like one area of politics. Take then every single policy, take every single topic, take every single political talking point, and I think one of the hard things that people do in politics, which makes it impossible for some groups to even talk to each other, is at some point when you get into politics, everyone has that moment where they realize, kind of like you said, no side's completely right. It's just
yeah,
you want to align with the side that you think is better in the sense of like either it fits you better or morally you think it's a little better. No one goes to vote thinking, well, maybe there's some crazy people out there. This
yeah.
person is Jesus Christ. Like,
And the thing
that
with
scares me,
America,
people who do that. It's like, what?
yeah, but America's voting system is the worst voting system in the world. I've seen dictators that is more equal than.
So, let me ask you as an outsider, someone who's not in the United States,
Yeah,
what do you think is so bad about it?
I think
And
that
what would you
there's two
change?
sides. In Sweden, we have our own. We have like a billion parties, pretty much.
Okay.
Too many choices per se, but still, we have choices. If the Republicans want one thing and you want that thing, but you're very strongly Democrat, you gotta vote for the Democrats, and that is such a bad thing. There's no in between, and I mean you gotta rely that either the Democrats, if you're a Democrat, and the Republicans actually have a fair point. You gotta hope to God that the Democrats can, you know, take off that. And it's very, I think it's very rare for the Democrats to take a Republican agenda and actually incorporate it, because then it would just be look like they were stealing it, and it would look that they're funding the evil, quote unquote. And I think that that's a very bad thing about American system. In Sweden, we have a party called the Swedish Democrats, and they are very, very radical. They're also very, very scarily right in some areas. And like, you don't want to vote for a radical party, but you also don't want to vote for a party that doesn't share the views of the Swedish Democrats, because the Swedish Democrats are very often correct in most of their ideologies. And so I think that American system where you either vote for one or you vote for the other is so faulty that it's beyond my understanding that it's gone on for over how many years has America existed? 100 years?
More than
I think
that, I would say I agree with you in some senses, but also too, I would argue technically it's labeled as two parties, but the Democratic Party is getting very progressive in a lot of ways. So I would almost say the chance of a third party is on the Democratic side right now. And
yeah,
instead of having like your own third party that you build up over time, what people are trying to do with the system, whether like you think it's broken or not, this is what people are trying to do for success, is be the people who take over that system, right?
yeah,
So, for example, if you agree, and if even in a party, people aren't going to agree with each other, it's just what you agree most on that you kind of line up with. The way I would put it is you have a bunch of factions in each side as it is,
yeah,
but you're more willing to have your team be in power just because maybe you can get some of your factions through better than the other side would be able to. But one of the issues that comes in politics in the United States, I don't know how it is in Sweden. I feel like at the national level, there's so much importance put on elections, like presidential elections, where I feel personally more people should get involved in local politics, because really the changes that you're going to see in your lifetime and in your community and your state are all lower level. Like if a president told me they're going to make my life better, I wouldn't trust them because I don't believe they have the power to do so. But if,
Yeah.
for example, my local official said, "Hey, we're going to make this community safer," that's something you can see happen on a day-to-day basis, or however they implement it.
I don't know. I think it's pretty interesting because like I don't know. Going back to like choices in Sweden, we have way too many parties. We have like I don't know seven, eight something, and it's like it's great to have the choice, but if no parties like correctly aligns with every single one of the ideologies, like it's for me, it's like I feel like every single party is just kind of the same.
Okay. This might be a dumb question as an American, because as an outsider, I know how stupid what I'm going to say is, but I'm still going to say it. With that many parties, do you feel like you're even able to accomplish anything or get anything done? And the reason I find that ironic is because a lot of people would argue we get nothing done in the United States with a two-party. But what I would say is over time, I feel like if you look through history of most countries, but I would say the United States for sure, slowly over time you progress. That's the best way. I don't think there's anything that should just automatically change overnight. That's going to be the best thing ever. I think for progress to happen, it has to happen on its own time, slowly over time, because through that you have a bunch of people with a bunch of different backgrounds battling through different ideas, and then trying to agree on the best ones.
Yeah, no, I think that in Sweden, we definitely do have like our parties are often. I say often because right now our party, the Social Democrats, are fucking useless. I mean that. I mean they said during
See
their
you,
election
Jonathan.
when they were elected into office, they said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna switch out our prime minister," because they were the same prime minister from the year before. Because they're on their second year right now. They voted in again somehow. Match fixing. Anyways, and uh, and so they said that yeah, we're gonna change our prime minister. Yeah, it's been like what 4 years and they still haven't done that. And I actually haven't heard a word from them. I don't think that anything has changed since they got into office. And it's like I look at that and I don't know. It's such a huge failure. And I mean, nothing is really changing right now. Everything is kind of the same, from my point of view at least.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think too, one of the hard things, and it's so hard to see this happen in politics, and it's something that I've really noticed in the past, I'd say 2 years. Um, but I would say there's the policy side to politics, where you have like actual policy that can be implemented, whether people think it's good or bad. That's kind of what runs things if you want anything to work in a country.
you have
But
that.
then there's social politics. I feel the
Yeah.
social politics can be the most easily observed by the outsiders. Like typically people who aren't political will get into politics for social reasons. And the reason I feel that's so dangerous if you're only in it for social reasons is you really just throw out shit that you can promise and don't have to back it up. And you could run on something and it's like, what does that even mean? So like for example, take like the United States. We are so divided right now in terms of like moving forward, what to do, because you have and it's kind of always been this way. I don't want to say we're even more divided nowadays than we used to be. I think it's always been this way. I just think social media has just amplified it, and I think there's just such a push to wanting each other to agree with each other, but not finding the stuff to agree on. But like one of the hard things, like social equality. What does that mean? So like when someone says, "I'm going to fight for social equality." Okay, that sounds good. What's the policy though? And if you're saying fighting for social equality, where's this social inequality? And a lot of times people will name it, but a hard thing to do is when you can't scale it. So, for example, if you're wanting to make change happen, it's easier to make it happen in, like I was saying, a town than it is a country. If, for example, let's say a police officer shoots, for the case of what we're going through right now, let's say an unarmed black man, okay?
Yeah.
So at this point, you have a couple things that happen. One, you have the social outlash that happens on social media where you have almost everyone online become the judge before all the details come out, which I feel like is a very hard thing to navigate, because I feel like, one, if you're getting into the law, you probably very much respect the process of going through to make sure all the information's collected before you make decisions legally.
Yeah, that's what I do.
But at the same time, you kind of have to appease everyone when you go through these. And it's a spectrum, right? And a lot of times it's like, okay, let's take, for example, let's say there was no gun whatsoever, there's no weapon, and this was completely the police officer's fault. He gets fired, he gets put in jail. Let's say it's that scenario, okay?
Yep.
So, if you're trying to make change happen and you run on a platform that says, we need to make this change happen, okay, I could see potentially a change happen in that unit because you saw them got fired, you saw that person get arrested. That could be justice in your eyes. But what does that mean for a police department halfway across the country who has a population of 100 people, has never had this problem once in their life, doesn't even have a black person in their town? You're supposed to put forward a policy that affects them negatively because of what a police officer did halfway across the country? That, to me personally, doesn't make sense. And what's scary about it is I see the same thing that can be said about race. And I've seen it said in the past about race. Someone commits a crime because of their race, or someone thinks their worth is worse or better because of their race. That's a very scary thing. But now we're kind of seeing that in a sense come back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's quite hard to believe everything. And I very often take the side of the critical ones. But like with your example, I see it a lot right now, where it's like they talk about how phones have ruined like one school, and it's like it's really bad in this one school, and they just on their phone during like class and stuff like that. So they want to ban these phones from school nationwide.
Yeah.
And that's like because that's another thing that pisses me off. The people who do the changes are not the people who will experience the changes. Like the people who do the changes, for example, for my example with banning phones from schools, right? That is change made by people who haven't gone to school for over like 40 years. And that is extremely wrong to me. Because I think that it should be based on the people that will affect. They should have a vote by every single person who goes to school.
Well, too, it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you implement something where you take away phones and you don't have a reason why you did it, and you don't know what you're tracking to see if it got better, I don't see what the point was. So, for example, if the reason, that's why I'm so big on reasons. Like, why do you want to do this? What do you think it's going to achieve? For example, let's take that. If the reason they're wanting to take phones away is they feel like students are being less productive, they're less involved, and their attention's not there, and they're hoping that banning phones will increase these students' grades or make them get more involved in the classroom, that's something you could potentially track at that school to see if it's working. But if you just take it away without even tracking any of that stuff, it's hard to know whether or not something worked. And put that to like social issues in the world today, but like on social media, you get a perception of it doesn't matter if it works or not, we just need to try something. And what's dangerous is you don't want to try the wrong things. You know what I think of when I think of someone promising to make a lot of change happen for a country and that it's going to be the greatest thing ever? I literally think of just Hitler rising to power and how just persuasive he was, and how like people don't want to call him genius, but he's literally the definition of like evil genius. And like that's one of the things too where it's like I feel like I don't know the history of Germany to the extent I should, but I want to look into that more in terms of the psychology, because like I hate hearing the comparisons now, but it makes sense in a way. Like I hear people now, for example, say, you want to know what the people were thinking when Hitler was rising to power, and you'd feel like you'd say something, and you wouldn't have just let it happen, but meanwhile you're staying silent for Donald Trump. It's like, okay, that's not really a comparison you can make. Or at the same time, it's like, you thought slavery was wrong back in the day, and you're saying to yourself you would have tried to help out the slaves back in the day. What are you doing now? It's like, but there's no slaves today. That's a completely different argument. I know what you're trying to do with that. I know where you're trying to go, but those are two different things. You're trying to relate two different things that don't relate necessarily, and try to make them fit without having a conversation. And that's another thing too. Like you see it with the leading questions in political debates or like Q&As. It's the most frustrating thing in the world. So, like, for example, regardless of, like, what people think of Trump's response to coronavirus or the United States, the way they try to set him up for questions, it's like, of course you know how he's going to answer, and I know why you asked it that way, because you want it for your headline. Because, like, if you think of anything, they asked him a question, I think it was last night, I was watching, and they're saying, they basically framed it as it was the worst possible response ever. Try to defend yourself, basically. And then he's like, oh, no, it wasn't like the worst thing ever. Like, we did this. I don't like know what you're talking about. Basically trying to get him to say like, hey, it could always be better. Trying to like admit, hey, I was wrong somewhere. But you know Trump, he's not going to say that shit. So like when they asked Trump then right after, they're like, so now knowing what you know now, would there be anything you would have done differently? Basically, what they're implying is the knowledge you have now, everything we've learned as a society, because if you remember back in the day, no one knew what the hell was going on, besides maybe the people who were the leads of the country getting this information. We're all kind of just trying to figure it out. They're like, now that you have all this information, have you analyzed something you wish you could have changed, and whatever you say you wish you would have changed means you did that wrong. And to him, he knows that's what the media is going to run. So for him, he'd rather answer in terms of, no, I wouldn't change it because I didn't know this information at the time, therefore it wouldn't be beneficial. Like, I acted on what I knew. And then they run with the headline, oh, Trump wouldn't change anything even after learning all this information. And like, the reason why this is such a bad thing in the United States and probably around the world too, depending on like the political leaders you guys have, is Trump can never be right. He always has to be wrong. And that means if he ever does something right, we can't progress as a country because they have to display it as wrong. Right?
Yeah.
Any president or leader of a country is not perfect. Obviously, Trump's going to say he's perfect or try to be as close to perfect as he can. That's a very easy thing you can write about him. But it's a flawed character trait, you can say. But if you're going to set him up as that's the way he answers, you're literally just doing it for clicks. You don't really care about trying to actually have a conversation with them. Like, so, for example, my mom's a teacher. My twin sister's a teacher. If they have a kid who's misbehaving, or they have a kid who maybe learns differently, or you have to talk to them a little differently than another kid, you're going to try to meet them at where they're at and work towards them. If you have someone like Trump who doesn't talk like a typical politician, doesn't have the background as a typical politician, maybe if you're trying to get something out of it, you got to approach it from a different angle than you typically would. Same thing for Trump. I would argue is why, if people find him successful in the sense of like looking back at this psychologically from I would say he's always kind of been involved in politics because he had his businesses and stuff, but like someone with no in-office political experience, such as himself. I feel one of the benefits that has is he can kind of cut through a lot of that political bullcrap by being politically incorrect. He doesn't have to be politically correct. Everyone else makes their career on it. But the cool thing is now, I'm seeing a lot more people in politics tweet. I'm seeing a lot more of what they want to accomplish put on social media. I see a lot more of the conversation coming to where we're at. And more than anything, it makes us to me at least, it makes me feel like I have more of a political opinion. Like before, it used to be a thing where it's like, oh, politics are this distant thing that like I don't really want to think about because it's just so heated as it is. Kind of now, politics is just found every aspect of life. So it's like you can't really be apolitical in the sense of you can't have a stance. It's just whether or not you want to acknowledge what your stance is. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's the direction we're going. And like from a psychological standpoint, I find it very fascinating where this country could go from this. And whether it's right or wrong, I'm excited to see what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for most of politics, it's kind of clear what is wrong and what's right. But there's like always some kind of like in between opinion you can have. But I gotta tell you about this one political party. I think I've told you about it before, but it's called, well, it's kind of like Greenpeace. It cares a lot about climate,
Mm-hmm.
and their main agenda is like about climate and making climate friendly changes, right?
Yeah.
Their main agenda is that they're gonna eliminate all fossil driven cars
Yep.
by the for at least one generation, and that is just such a fucking stupid agenda because it's such a unrealistic agenda.
Well, so here's the thing, and this is where I feel like in the United States we have one of our biggest political disconnects. Is you have the two extremes, right? You have I think a majority of people, if you asked a majority of people, hey, if you could do something yourself to potentially help the environment, be better for your kids, and it's not that big of a deal, like it's a little thing, would you do it? Yeah. Most people I feel like would say yeah. But the issue is what your definition of little or how much you're willing to take on is different depending on the person. And if you ask someone too much, they're going to outright reject it. It's kind of like doing a favor for a friend. If you're really good friends with someone, you might do a huge favor for them. But if it's a dude you talk to once every 2 years and he hits you up out of the blue, is like, hey man, I know I haven't talked to you for 2 years. How you doing? By the way, I'm moving this weekend. Could you bring your truck and help me move? Right? Like most people wouldn't want to do that. They probably wouldn't help them. They'd be like, "Hey, I'm busy. Hopefully you're doing good." The issue when it comes to politics and why I'm so hopeful for a future through this though is the discussions are happening in every area. Whether you want to talk about climate, if you want to talk about economy, you have to have the extremes. I feel like brought to light in a sense because you get each side calling out each other's bullcrap, and then you get down to what you can both agree on. That's kind of like how, I don't know, what's the word? When you're trying to sell something, and you're like, it's $300. All right, I'll take it. Would you take it for 200? I can give you 200 right now. And they're like, nope, 275. You're like, how about 250? What's it called?
Bargaining.
Bargaining, yeah. And that's kind of the case in a lot of politics. And if I highly recommend you, if you're trying to get into law, look at like some of the bills that like either pass in the United States Congress or that they talk about, because you'll have something where it'll be, let's say, about climate, but it will include a bunch of different areas. It'll talk about racism. It'll talk about jobs. It'll talk about money. It'll talk about a bunch of different areas because, one, a certain topic might affect different areas rather than just the topic itself. But on top of it, I would say it's kind of like political parties in the sense of you don't agree on everything, but you want to get something done. Is you'll see a lot of random things where it's like, hey, I don't think we'll ever get a climate bill passed on itself. But if we could maybe throw in a little more regulations at this certain job so they can't pollute as much as they currently are, we might try to throw that in on the end of a different bill that we have a little bit more power on. It's literally just power dynamics. It's, hey, we're going to do you a favor here and then hold it over your head so that hopefully you do us a favor down the line.
Yeah.
Because, like, you'll read some of these bills and, like, you think you understand it, and then you're like, wait. What the heck does that mean? And, like, for me, I don't know, like, how you are, but I know a lot of people have a hard time objectively looking at something. And I think that's one of the beautiful things for me being somewhat like centered in my politics. I'm not really picking sides. I just like to hear the ideas, kind of like soccer. Most soccer games I watch, I don't have a favorite team. I'm not watching hoping one wins. I'm just hoping both teams put on a great show.
Yeah, you
When
should say I vote for the winning team.
But that's the thing people do. But that's the scary thing though. You say that, but it's not the winning team. They want to vote for the most popular team because they
Right.
want to say that they were on that side. So that's how you get a lot of bandwagon fans. It's the same thing in politics. You'll have people change political parties all the time or disavow one political party or like say they believe in one thing but really it's another, all off of what people on social media are saying. That's when you get celebrities tweeting the dumbest stuff about politics just because they're trying to appease their fan base. Like, I think, who is it? I believe it was Beyonce. Last election, she tweeted, like, I think it was the day after the election, or, like, after polls close, make sure you go out and vote. And they're like, you can't vote anymore. Like, are you dumb or are you dumb? And I think she ended up deleting it, but like people gave her shit for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like the idea of having to like I don't know about you, but it's like I hear both sides talk about this idea is evil or this person's evil or what they want to do. I can't in my heart hate someone. It's hard for me to hate anyone. First of all, I'm not trying to like virtue signal, but like I have enough shit going on in my life where I find it hard to people I don't care about think about them on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Where I will go out of my way to think about it. It just doesn't make sense. Why would I want to piss myself off? But the thing is, like, the thing that kind of changed my mind on politics is, hey, even though I might not agree with what this person wants to do, I'm going to trust they're coming from a position where they think this is going to help people and understand, hey, maybe someone else can find a better way that you can more relate to that can help people as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm also very centered. I don't know. I don't have like a distinctive political party that I believe in. I believe in what I hear that I agree with, but I'm very, very open to
All right,
change my
one
opinion.
second. I'm going to end the stream quick, and then we can keep talking. Thank you, guys, for hanging out. If you did enjoy, feel free to smack the like button, subscribe if you're new. A little more political, this one towards the end. Not necessarily picking sides, but kind of like talking about which you guys do enjoy that, especially since we're getting close to election. Let me know. I would love to do some sort of, like, if there's, like, a town hall or a debate, see if I could live stream on YouTube or Twitch. Probably have to be Twitch because I don't want to get in trouble on YouTube. But I feel like that'd be fun to see, not necessarily your guys' opinions, but just kind of experience it in a little more relaxed setting. Let me know. But besides that, I'm going to head out. It's been your boy MumboElite. Peace.